Do you like headaches? You know, the ones that you get from your car being stuck in park and won't move? Or your engine that just likes to blow up for no good reason? Well then, this video was made for you. And if you want to avoid these cars that are so unreliable that you can only rely on them being unreliable, then this video was also made for you. Because I've come up with a list of 4 cheap cars, plus an honorable mention that you should just never, ever, 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 ever buy. And the last one on this list actually has a nickname for how often it needs repairs. It's great to see you guys again. Let's go. If you're looking to get into a convertible, then under no condition should you ever find yourself looking at a Chrysler Sebring. Yes, it is the longest built vehicle from Chrysler, and it has been unofficially known as the worst car of the decades. Yeah, plural decades, because it was built in 1995 all the way up till 2010. And you could get it in a sedan, in a coupe, and even topless. And let's start off by talking a little bit about that convertible, because these flimsy tops were extremely finicky. And since there weren't any reinforcements, rollover accidents could easily prove fatal. And believe it or not, that's kind of a small issue compared to the dreaded transmission issues that hamper almost every single Sebring, where the shifter will just not shift out of park, no matter how hard you try, which means you're going nowhere fast. And not only that, but the check engine light will come on and it'll keep you in gear that you're currently in and not let you shift out of it. Plus, there are sensor failures inside the distributor, which can make the car stall or just straight up not start. Yeah, so you could literally be going down the freeway and your car just stops working. No bueno. And something else that is extremely annoying is the loud clicking noise from the HVAC system. Just listen to this.
Frost. So now this thing's clicking now. First what we gotta do is we gotta open up this glove box. Now it stopped.
Yeah, that's like one of the most annoying sounds in the world. And if all this isn't enough, well, the head gaskets like to fail prematurely, which means open heart surgery, which, trust me, isn't cheap. Oh, and lastly, if you want to stay cool and run the AC, watch out for running water down the passenger side under the dash, which is due to a plugged AC evaporator. And if you don't fix it, it can make your car smell like mildew. So yes, the Chrysler Sebring is easily one of the worst cars in the world. But don't take my word for it, because even the infamous Jeremy Clarkson said so. So it's gotta be true. This was just the first car on the list, and we're just getting started. So if you're starting to see a theme, you're not alone, because Chrysler has had some quality issues with a few of their cars. And the PT Cruiser, the front engine, front wheel drive 5-door hatchback that recalled styling from the 1930s was a ticking time bomb. And let's not forget, you could also get this lovely Chrysler contraption in a 2-door convertible, in case you really wanted to stick out. Now, the PT Cruiser is the type of car that you bring to your mechanic for a pre-purchase inspection, and they're either gonna talk you out of buying the car before they even look at it so that, you know, you save a bunch of money, or they're going to inspect it and tell you to buy it because they know that you'll pay so much in repair bills that you'll put one of their kids through college. And one of the most annoying issues with the PT Cruiser is the wireless control module, which when it fails will lock up and it means your engine won't even crank. And well, that means you won't be able to start the car. Now, you can just disconnect the negative terminal of the battery and reset the system. And fingers crossed, the car will crank after that, which that fix is free, but it's also super annoying, and I don't even know if I know how to do that. So you're gonna have to spend some bucks and get the wireless control module fixed. Also, the power steering hoses like to come in contact with the transaxle differential cover and piss power steering fluid everywhere. Not only is this not good for the environment, but you literally lose power steering, which makes it extremely tough to drive. And lastly, the engine likes to overheat because of bad cooling fan motors. And if the engine overheats, that is going to cost an arm and a leg. Yeah, the retro styling might get you, but just say no. The unique looks are definitely not worth the headaches.
Perfect.
Oh, and now it's time for that ideal question of the day, which is, what is the worst car that you've ever driven or been in? Let us know down in the comments. And I want to see your guys' best work yet. So go to the comment section, let us know the worst car you've ever driven or been in. Let's go.
some of the perks about this car?
Perks? About a Chevy Aveo? Well, no one's ever gonna wanna steal it from you.
Well, if you like to buy cars with engine components that are made out of plastic, buy a Chevy Aveo. This little subcompact is actually manufactured by Daewoo and was sold in the USA as a Chevy. It most likely is the most boring car you've ever laid eyes on. This thing is just a cheap commuter car that's supposed to get you from point A to point B as cheaply as possible. And internationally, it's sold as 7 different car brands. Yeah, you got the Chevy Aveo, the Daewoo Gentra, the Holden Barina, the Pontiac G3, the Ravone Nexia R3, the Suzuki Swift Plus, and the Zaz Vita. Yeah, all of those are the exact same car. And the tiny little engine that doesn't even have enough power to get up a damn hill is about as unreliable as they come. And even on the flat, you try to accelerate and the thing won't even go anywhere.
"2,000 years later."
But that's the least of your worries because these motors love to overheat just like a fat kid loves cake. And the shifter on the automatic transmission just loves to fail. And when it fails, you can't shift it out of gear and most likely you won't be able to get it into park, which means that the keys will become stuck in the ignition lock cylinder. And that means you're gonna have to leave the car wherever it is with the keys in it, which would be a big problem, except a thief wouldn't be able to steal the car because they wouldn't be able to get it back into drive. But at that point, you'd probably want it to be someone else's problem anyways. So if you're thinking a Chevy Aveo, think again. It's literally one of the only cars in the world that can't go fast enough to kill you.
Okay, I'll take it.
What? No, man, you definitely don't wanna do that. It's basically just a Daewoo with a bow tie on it. And I'm pretty sure Aveo is Spanish for toilet.
And on that note, it's time for that honorable mention. The Ford Explorer, or more commonly known as the Ford Exploder, is today's honorable mention. And believe me, it has earned it. From the rattling noise in the engine caused by the timing chain cassette, and when they break, it causes the camshaft to jump time. And no, jumping time is not like time travel. Rather, it means that you need a new motor. Yeah. Oh, and the blender door actuator, AKA the click of death, is a common problem where you won't get any heat.
You can hear
And
that?
for some reason, it always seems to happen in the winter. And that's when you really, really need heat and it just breaks. Plus the bodywork, the infamous cracked rear liftgate panel, where a crack's just suddenly gonna appear out of nowhere. And at this point, if you're not convinced that you need to avoid the Explorer like the plague, the transmissions are known to be opposite of bulletproof. So trust me, if you're looking for a cheap SUV, dodge a bullet and look elsewhere. The Fiat 500 has had a tough run because they've consistently been unreliable. Even though the iconic small Italian city car, with its pseudo-cool retro styling and a 0 to 60 time in just under 10 seconds, trust me, you need to resist the urge because Fiat, which stands for Fix It Again Tony, lives up to its reputation. The pressure plates prematurely become faulty and the clutch tends to go out early, which means you need to do a full 4-figure clutch replacement. And if you decide to skip all that mayhem and get an automatic transmission instead, beware, because they just recalled 50,000 cars that may roll away when you put them into park. Yeah, literally roll away from you. Now, it is fixed under a recall, but if you see one parked in the wild, it could roll away at any time. And also, build quality is subpar, with rattles and squeaks throughout, and there is an off chance that a trim piece or two will fall off without warning. So if you like living your life on the edge, well, I still wouldn't recommend that you buy a Fiat 500. Instead, I'd recommend you buy these 5 fun first cars for under $3,000, or check out what YouTube recommends you watch next. Oh, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. But either way, you can't lose, and as always, keep living that ideal lifestyle.